So something else we need to do is some of the system setup, so things like the automatic numbering and things like that. So we're going to set those up under the setup menu, and we're going to go to system setup. A sequence of tabs or a series of tabs come up in here. The first one is numbering, and what that allows you to do is set the last number for last quote number, last invoice number, and last job number. So if you're using an existing system and you've got a numbering sequence in place, or even if that's just pre-printed pads, you can put the last quote number in here, and then the system will start to calculate numbers from there. Now we recommend that if you do put something in here, or even if you don't put anything in here, you leave these bottom two boxes ticked, the auto quote number and the auto invoice number. That's so that as you use each one, the system will automatically give a new quote, a new number, so you don't have to keep a manual track of quote numbers that are issued. The next option we've got in here is the domestic options. Quite a few tick boxes in here. The top one is allow amend of last job date detail. Now what this is to help with importing. So if you import your clients and you don't have a last job date as a separate field when you're doing your imports, the system obviously can't populate the field that says last job date. But if you've got that scribbled down or noted somewhere within some other data that you can manually extract, by having a tick in this box in the client's record, you can click into the last job date and amend that. In this edition, it is fixed at manual pricing, so you don't need to do anything with that. The system won't calculate prices automatically for you in the free edition. And then the next one in here is require family name. Now if you put a tick in this box, what it'll do is it won't allow you to get any further into creating the client's record until you've put a family name in. So that makes sure you don't accidentally finish up with address details in with no family names in. There is a system start date here as well, and that is to control the date that the daily marketing activities start to work on. So if you're going to be using the automatic job reminder that's discussed in some of the other videos, what you need to do is when you're ready for using that, you will come into here and use the system start date and set that at today's date, and then obviously going forward those automatic job reminder letters will appear in the daily marketing function. So for now you don't need to worry about that, but this is where it is. The next field on there is unit of length. Now you get the choice to tell the system that you're putting in the dimensions into the system in meters, yards or feet. So whichever of those you use, you can put those in the quantity fields. Now the system will then know from what you've chosen here to calculate the sizes accordingly. Now you can actually change those on the fly in the client record. So what you set here is what the system's expecting, but if you happen to get dimensions that aren't in this unit, you can change it on the fly in the client's record, and those will be recorded correctly in the client's record. You'll see on some of the other videos how that works. But this is also important if you upgrade in the future possibly to the Professional Plus edition, because this is where when you set your pricing tables up so that when you put the dimensions and sizes in, the system will automatically calculate prices. It will be depending on this unit of length being set in the system here. The next one that's applicable in the Forever Free edition is the number of extras that you can set. So within the grids, when you're quoting for items, if you're quoting for a carpet on clean only, clean and protect, and then you may have other extra services such as anti-allergen treatment, sanitizer or flame retardant, and you would quote those as a separate price on top of the clean only or clean and protect treatment price. This determines the number of those that you will display on the grid. So that's usually determined by your screen size or the number of actual extras that you may well want to offer. So that covers everything under the domestic options tab here. The next one along is the VAT tab. Now obviously when you set your system up, you need to make sure that the VAT rate at the top here, the percentage is what the current VAT percentage is. The system quotes prices including VAT by default. Okay, and that's the way the VAT prefer it for domestic clients particularly. They prefer you to quote at £120 including VAT rather than £100 plus VAT. So the system has been set to default to the price includes VAT. So you set the percentage, the current VAT percentage here. Now what we have done is also put a provision in here for when the VAT rate is changing. So when the VAT rate is changed, you'll get notified. You'll be told what the new VAT rate is, and you'd put that in this box here, and then you'd select in the box here the date that is going to take place. But for your initial setup, just make sure that the VAT rate is set to the current VAT rate here. If you're not VAT registered, just simply enter 0 in here. And the final tab that's applicable in the Forever Free edition is the Map Web Address tab. Within the client's record, you can click the View on Map button to see the address on Google as default in the system, or Street Map again is a default that you can set in the system. Or if you've got a preferred mapping system that you use, there will be an address that you can post into here. And then when you save that will take you to your preferred mapping system directly from the client's record. But this is set to use Google by default, so you don't need to change anything in there if you're happy with using Google. So that's an overview of the system setup that you need to consider before you start using the GetBookedUp Forever Free edition.